This series of videos looks at weaknesses that I discovered on my website after it came under attack by hackers, and the steps I went through to remove those weaknesses and to harden every aspect of my server and my applications. The moment you make your website public, the bots immediately start scanning it for weaknesses. Environment variables, hunting for standard weaknesses, WordPress, WordPress sign-in, WordPress admin, WordPress, GitHub, environment variables, configuration files, API file. All of these things are potential weaknesses that the bots are constantly exploiting. Whether you are a system administrator, a developer, or a solopreneur who doesn't know anything about the back end, or simply the manager of a company that has a website, you need to be aware that your website is constantly under attack by bots searching for well-known attack vectors. If you don't have the skills or the desire to secure your website yourself, you need to engage someone who does. In the next step in my securing of my server, I've created a Python script to analyze various log files and record any suspicious activity to a database, and then built a minimum viable product MVP dashboard to analyze, to query that database and display the results on the screen. Now, I know if you have a large organization, you will have commercial software that does all this. I've worked with those products, but for a person working on his own, this is a perfectly reasonable first iteration. And it's free. So I use ChatGPT to help me build the script and work up some ideas about what files should be analyzed and what should be analyzed and how. This is the table that I've created. It's a single table, nothing else, to record events for later analysis. Now, I know in a large commercial application, you would have much more extensive data structures, but as I said, this is an MVP. I just want to just kick off the idea. And here's part of the Python script. So it's looking at these log files, and I can extend these to as many log files as I want. And some of the things to check for. And as I've pointed out in previously, and looking at the Apache log files, there's lots of things that we can look for specifically. It also checks IP addresses. Anyone who tries to access any of these things, we know they're a hacker, so we record their IP address for later use, and we can see a count of how many times it's accessed, and it just reads through each of those log files, looks for anything suspicious, and records it to that database. And then the queries, we have 4 queries. They just query the table, just simply sorted by different ways and looking for different events. And then our dashboard, we have a very simple dashboard. So each of these buttons runs one of those queries. So we click on that, suspicious probe, and so this is the path. You can see down here. Top attacking IPs. So these are our top IP addresses that we're receiving hacks from or attacks from. And so in the future, we can put in blocks against those IP addresses. Apache probes, request paths. Yeah, so they're just the ones that we've configured to look for. And any SSH activity. Okay, that's just me logging in. And I will be extending this in the future to look at more logs and look at more types of activities, other types of activities, and more potential attack vectors. It just gives me an idea of what's going on without having to go onto the Linux server and then go into the log files and troll through log files to see what's going on. Okay, that's it. Quick and easy. So I've implemented the security audit and dashboard, and we can see immediately there are specific IP addresses that are submitting requests to try to access various secure information, secrets, Bitcoin conf, Ethereum, seed phrases, private keys. So it's looking for all sorts of privileged information or secret information. So what I want to do now is to actually block those individual IP addresses so that they're not constantly filling up the log files and my reports. So I've discussed this with ChatGPT, and there are basically three or four different options. One is to put individual IP blocks into the Apache configuration. That's not really good and doesn't solve my problem anyway, because by the time it reaches Apache and it passes it, it filters it through the configuration, it's already added it to the log file. Another possibility is to add a firewall rule to Google Cloud Platform. Another possibility is to add a TCP rule denying access to individual IP addresses on ports 80 and 443. Another possibility is to use the UFW deny command, again for individual specific IP addresses. The problem with that is that the hackers' IP addresses change constantly. They use different servers, they use hacked servers, so they can change their IP address on a daily basis. Better option is to use the Fail2Ban. The Fail2Ban detects suspicious patterns. Well, firstly, we determine the suspicious patterns, which are these commands, the request paths. So anything that gives large numbers of requests from an individual IP address, we want that banned. We add the ban, and then that request never reaches Apache. So what we're going to do is first we'll do that command just to check. So I've done that. It is installed, so I don't have to worry about installing. And then we do enable. So we enable Fail2Ban, then we start it, check its status, and here we are on the server. So the version 1.0.2, I've enabled it, synchronizing, and I've started it, and check the status. The status returns that there are currently 5 jails that I've previously set up, working with ChatGPT previously. We've set up a few, so now we're going to set up a new one, new jail. So any get, post, or head request that comes in on any port that contains any of those things, and we can add to those at any time. After I do some more analysis of the logs, we can increase that. That will, if there are more than a number of those requests within a certain time frame, that will get flagged for jailing the IP address. And this is the definition file of the jail that we're setting up. So it looks, this is for Fail2Ban. It looks at the access log and checks for any of those attempted accesses, URLs that we've defined as being bad. Then any IP address that attempts 5 of those within 600 seconds, which is 10 minutes, gets banned for 86,400 seconds, which is 24 hours. So that's a good dynamic way of doing it. So it's constantly updating the IP addresses that are banned from even attempting to access Apache. So I'll just save that. Back in ChatGPT, yes, so it says, all right, now just go back. So this is the configuration file for Fail2Ban. Test that. So there's been, on the log file, there are 1,240 instances of attempting to get .envs, 8 instances attempting to get access to .git, and 6 attempts at accessing WP-admin. Now, mind you, that's not the only log file, so I will be expanding that configuration because we have multiple log files here. One practical improvement is to make repeat offenders progressively longer bans. Fail2Ban can do that with this increment. Oh, okay, so you increment and factor. Okay, so you make the ban time, so it starts off with a 24-hour ban and doubles it each time. So I'm guessing that means it's become 2 days, then 4 days, then 8 days, with a maximum time of 60,000. What's that? 8 eighths. I think that's 7 days. Yeah, there we go, up to a maximum of 7 days. Okay, we can do that as well. So I'll implement that, and that'll be all sorted. So that's good. Just a quick update. I've just made some changes to the security audit dashboard. So it reads the output from the Fail2Ban and other things that are stored in the security audit database. I've added some more functionality to it so that it records IP addresses that have been banned by Fail2Ban, and then I can report on it up here. So as I saw before, that's your high risk events. So there's these bots that are trying to access all of these things. I think basically they probably buy libraries of attack vectors. So these are files that some hackers have found on servers that they've hacked into, or they've just tried lots of things and have succeeded in getting a result returned, and so they add it to their library of attack vectors or list of weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and then they sell it on the dark web. And if we look at this tab, we have the top attacking IPs, Apache probes. This is a list of all the request paths that it's accessed. And what I've added is a list of the jailed IP addresses, and here they all are, and there's a lot. That's just the first 50, because the query limits it at 50, and I haven't implemented paging yet. So it's something I'll do in the future. But these are all the IP addresses that have been attempting to get restricted information or locate attack vectors from my websites. If you haven't secured your website, then it is constantly under attack. Like every second of every day, there are multiple hackers. All these different hackers are trying to either access your back end or just extract information like these from your website. Okay, so you need to secure it.